Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another BlazeCast presentation, bringing you a game from the defense to group stages. We got a game between PotM Bottom and CLG. Now this specific replay, they had an all-pick phase after their drafting phase. I guess they just had to do a quick remake, and under those circumstances I obviously can't catch the draft for you, but seeing as this is a plenty long game anyways, we can jump right into it and kind of get down to it. So we have Venomancer, Leshrac, Nature's Prophet, Death Prophet, and Enigma going in on Dire team on CLG there. They're the Swedish team playing there. And then we have, I'll just bring up this item board here. And you got Fogged playing the Invoker. You got Kizzles on the Lich, sneaking on Brewmaster. Owie 2000, the carry player on Dragonite, and Way Too Sexy on the Vengeful Spirit. And these are all members of PotM Bottom. They're a North American team consisting of USA and Canada. And yeah, they've been very, very competitive in this tournament thus far, and I'm interested to see their playstyle. I've only seen them play once before, and it was a pretty short match, so I guess it doesn't really count there. But yeah, kind of see how they fare up against CLG, the Swedish team. So as far as their lineups go, what I'm seeing here, they have CLG has a really push-intensive lineup. I would consider every single one of the heroes that they picked up a push hero to some extent, with Leshrac's Edict on the towers, the Venom Wards pushing against the creeps, the Trents taking up towers and just being able to be mobile and port all over the map, and Enigma with his Eidolons. All of them have a good amount of push potential, and that can really potentially disrupt PotM Bottom's lanes early on. But they have a decent lineup of their own. Brewmaster obviously adding a lot to fights, especially when he gets his ultimate up, but the clap's very powerful too. Lich, an amazing lane support, probably going to be running bottom with Dragonite. Actually, Lich is towards the top right now, so I guess he's running with the Brewmaster. Oh, Hasted Venomancer, got to watch out for that. If he had picked up the Poison Sting, he could do a ton of harass damage, but even as he is now, he's still very dangerous. But does get the Gale off. The clap has not gone off yet, but Lich has no Nova at this point, so it is actually one thing that Venomancer will have a pretty good disadvantage just going back and forth with him. But Pycat picking up the Leshrac. I've seen him play Leshrac before, and he does it extremely well. Plays him very aggressively, lands some really solid stuns, those kind of things. But we got 1v1 the Invoker going up against the Death Prophet, who we do have a glitch on her appearance, and I'm not really sure what we can do about that, but shouldn't be too big a deal. You guys should know what Death Prophet looks like, but she's the ghostly chick. With some extensive accent. I'm not actually sure what nationality that accent is, but that's not really important in Russian, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, you got Nature's Prophet doing a solo suicide against the Vengeful Spirit Dragonite lane, which is actually a really powerful lane with a lot of stun potential. If you get VS initiates with her stun, and with that the Dragon Tail is allowed to be get into melee range for it. Meanwhile, a lot of good double pulling coming from Aki here, the support player from CLG, and Miracle's just going to be farming up his Enigma, trying to get some good aggressive items, and play very well. So I would say, as far as the setups here, Invoker probably has a bit of an advantage going 1v1, just because of that huge amount of quas regen, but you can't count Death Prophet out, especially when she's going for a fast bottle build like she is. She can just harass a couple creep waves down, get enough money for her bottle really quickly, and then be able to spam and do a lot of destructive power as well. Neither one of them is really going to be leaving the lane too much. Death Prophet generally stays until she pushes down the tower with her ultimate, and Invoker generally stays until he gets enough experience that he needs to leave the lane. He's very XP reliant, but we'll see how that goes. Kind of waste a cold snap there, but not a big deal. But as far as early game experience, you're definitely going to be looking towards CLG's benefit, because they do have the jungling Enigma, and that's something you got to watch out for. He just has that much more experience gain. And as long as Nature's Prophet isn't zoned too hard, they'll definitely have the benefit of that in the early game phases. I should actually put this up a while ago, but Invoker leading on last hits 5-2 for his team and 4-4, but we'll change it to see that Dire team has two heroes, the Death Prophet with 12 last hits, and the Enigma with 13 now, but that's jungle creep, so it's obviously not as relevant. And just starting off, Invoker going for pretty standard items. Pycat, really curious if he's going to be playing more supportively, or, I mean, he's got the Venomancer in his lane with Miracle, so really they're not really going for any one specific person being the carry. I think they're kind of going to distribute farm and just all get pretty excellent items of their own, and then opt to push this tower as fast as possible, maybe with a Nature Prophet's assistance teleporting up. But in the meantime, Brewmaster going to try to he's missing a keg too, so I'm guessing this patch did have some graphical glitches along with it, or maybe my replay's just bugged out, I don't know. But anyways, he's only level 2, so they do have a lot of presence right here, but they're already starting off. They drop down a Venom Ward, Nature Prophet coming in with the Trench, just like I was talking about, and here comes the Eidolons. So, huge amount of push potential. Got a rank 2 Edict, that's what they were waiting on, and now that they got that up, this tower is going to be very, very hard pressed very, very quickly, and there's almost nothing that these two can do about it. They're just going to die if they try to force the issue on it. So the Trents are going to take it up next, and or the creeps either way, but they're going to drop that down really quickly with a 4-man push, dropping down the tower before 4 minutes. Very good. Nobody got the last hit on it, so that did take away a bit of the chunk of gold they would have gotten out of it, but one way or another, they're going to add a lot to their gold right off the bat. And it looks like they're not quitting. They don't have any mana for Eidolons now, but they have mana for everything else, and they're pushing down with another Edict. They're going for it again, and they're going to try to slow it as much as they can with the collapse, do some damage to the creeps, but the tower's already dropping below half health, and even with Vengeful Spirit here, you got a couple of nukes, but overall, it's almost suicidal trying to go in range of that Gale. If you do, you're not going to be going anywhere fast. Lands a stun, Split Earth on the Brewmaster. He's out of mana, Gale on him, but they don't have anybody else to pursue on it. Everybody is kind of trying to make sure they finish off this tower, and no last hit on it again, but they do take down 2 towers right off the bat. 4.5 minutes in, you already got 2 towers. You can see immense gold gain right here. It just skyrockets in their direction, or the thing is that they're in the lower part with the Dire. It does drop down, plummets down to almost a 3,000 gold gain. Actually, you're looking at over a 3,500 gold gain right now, so very substantial. And then they kind of just go right back to where they were, kind of status quo as far as bottom lane, but everybody else transitioning to middle. They got their arcane boots already on Leshrac, so they can just keep on doing this, and that's what their whole strategy of building their team around was. Like I said, all 5 of these are pusher heroes, so why not? Why not jump it in, make sure this Dragonite isn't going to get the gold farm he needs, make sure this Invoker isn't going to get the experience farm he needs. He's at level 5, so he's doing okay, but he's not going to come in of its own until he gets more points in his Invocation. And there's just so much pressure on these towers here, even with the EMP. They got arcane boots, and they got the pressure they need for it. So Enigma did go Soul Ring, so he has no mana issues at all. I don't know if he's going to go for a gank or just farm their jungle, but one way or another, that's 3 towers down. Even if it's 0-0, those towers are worth at least 2 hero kills, so you can almost consider it like 6-0, but they don't give experience, obviously, so there's quite a difference, but it is a huge benefit for CLG to pick up these towers really quickly. But based on the lineup, PotM Bottom must have expected this, and they're probably going to have a retaliation plan. They're going to say, okay, well, what we need to do is start defending hardcore as a 5-man team at a certain point. They'll be okay with maybe losing this tier 1 tower, but then shortly after that, they're going to have to force the issue on the tier 2 towers or something along those lines. They have something in mind, they have a clear-cut strategy, and they're going to have to figure out exactly what they're going to do about it. But yeah, very powerful push lineup and very well drafted by CLG, and it definitely is paying off up to this point. EMP going out, it is only rank 1, I believe, maybe rank 2. Rank 3, actually. No, rank 3 EMP, he is up to level 6. And so that does do a bit of a destructive amount, but arcane boots on at least the Leshrac. It looks like that's it. I got treads on the Prophet. And there was some action going on top with sneaking, pushing in with the Brewmaster, but Nature Prophet TPing up. No mana no gold cost on that. He can just do it whenever he wants, and makes it pretty easy to defend it. Meantime, interesting positioning with Lich. Has rank 1 Frost Blast going for his rank 2 sacrifice over, but they do get a stun on Pycat with the dragon with the ultimate, and now Brewmaster is in a little bit in trouble, but he does have his ultimate available if he does need to use it. Collapse down creeps. But yeah, the fact that Dragonite just picked up his ultimate, he was able to get that long range Dragon Tail off, and that was a quick, easy kill for first blood on the Leshrac. So he got caught out a little bit, but that's the cost of playing so aggressively, trying to push this stuff down, and they're going to get a pause from Brewmaster now. So you're looking, I mean, KDA is not very exciting. All you're looking at is Dragonite getting a kill, but you can kind of tell right off the bat from the GPM. You're seeing Death Prophet and Enigma Prophet getting a lot. A little bit of free farm on the Dragonite bottom lane, so he's doing pretty good. His CS is up to 34, but just the amount of gold that they get from the towers, you're seeing 3, even Invoker isn't doing that great as far as GPM Brewmaster's the only one sustaining above that other than the carry DK. So really, especially with looking at the supports only having 78 to 8 and 89, whereas the supports here are having well over 200, it's you can see a huge difference right off the bat what those towers made as far as what the supports are able to pick up. Whereas like the Venomancer, he has his urn, a couple hundred gold, he's got wards up, got a flying courier up, that kind of stuff. Whereas you're looking at the Lich and he's got absolutely nothing, a couple branches of smoke and not even 200 gold. So it's just a black and white difference between these supportive heroes, and still a pretty big chunk for the Death Prophet and what she's picked up already. Because she gets tanky enough that quickly, I don't know if she's going to go for a drum or what, but if she gets tanky enough fast enough, then she's going to be very hard to deal with that ultimate exorcism, dealing so much damage over time with those spirits. So I'm just clearing out jungle a little bit here and making sure they maintain that gain. I'm not sure if experience is in their favor. Radiant actually had the experience advantage up until just a little bit ago, and pretty much this is where the phase where Enigma was jungling, and they had the huge advantage. But then once they started pushing towers and everybody else was distributed across the lane from PotM Bottom, they were able to get a lot more experience. But now it's kind of going and being back where everybody's spread out again and can go in anybody's direction. But the gold, completely, very evidently, sitting at well over 4,000 and been that way for the past few minutes, really, because of that those tower kills. So I'm actually surprised they're not kind of trying to take the items that they got, kind of snowball the advantage that they just received, but they're going to play a bit carefully, get a little bit more farm up, because they're really not worried about what this Dragon Knight's going to come out with too soon. He's got good last hits, but all he has right now is Treads and Wand, or Magic Stick for that matter, so it's not really the biggest deal in the world. But Enigma is going to be working on his Mechanism, and I believe that's when they want to start pushing again once that mech comes up, because that'll negate maybe a Dragon's Breath from Breathe Fire from Dragon Knight, or Lich some of his damage as well. And yeah, they also don't want to have to worry too much about pushing against that Panda, because once he does pop that ultimate, it's hard to disengage the fight, because he does chase down really quickly. But actually, mech coming out on Nature's Prophet, I guess that means that Enigma's opting for the pipe to go up against the Chain of Frost and things along those lines, along with the Invoker damage. But he's going Quaz Wex, so he's just going for Tornado and EMP, kind of doing that kind of counter push action. So I'm curious how many Arcane Boots are going to come out, if you're going to see it picked up. She's got Phase Boots on Death Prophet, so she's not rushing a Bloodstone or anything. But Enigma and Venomancer could possibly go for Arcanes once Wex starts building up a bit more on the Invoker. But just so many, they got the mech. Well, actually, yeah, they got almost have the mech finished out on Nature's Prophet. He just needs that recipe at that point, so he's 800 away. And once he gets that, that's when they're going to start opting to push, because really Lich doesn't even have his ultimate yet. He's jumping around trying to get farm, and they're jumping down to bottom lane to start pushing the issue on this first tier 1 tower here. And they can definitely do it. I mean, you look at how many summons they have, each one of these having like 200 hit points, each one of these having 500 plus. It just adds so much to their creep waves that even with the pushback from the Breathe Fire, he can only do that a couple times, and suddenly this tower is dropping and fast, and there's nothing they can really do about it but try to go for a deny. Now it is getting really low. It does get killed by Enigma's Eidolons, but there's a nice tornado going down, and Dragon Knight stun. Death Prophet gets melted, but a nice black hole, but he has Cold Snap on him. A couple of auto attacks from the Invoker breaks that quick, and now Aki's on the run. His stun might be coming out from him in just a second, but they got the tornado on the Shrek, and they're going to focus on him next. Dragon Knight stun, and that's going to be the end of Lesh as well. So they did get the tier 1 tower. They are continuing the push strat, but they did lose a number of heroes there, and they're down 4-1 technically. And apparently, Way Too Sexy playing the Vengeful Spirit actually just got knocked out by Eidolons for completely unnecessarily. I'm guessing that's what the little remark there was. But dying right here, I don't know if he got trapped in or what, but something happened where he just died with no hero nearby whatsoever. So that's funny. So it really is based on how fast this Dragon Knight can get farmed up. If he's going to be rushing him a BKB or something like that, so he can be very potent in teamfights really early on and I think that would probably be his best option. But there's plenty of things that he could go, but not much with that that involve that Ogre Club. There's only a couple things. So probably gonna be that BKB, and that'll be cool. I got the mechanism up, and nothing else. Really, nothing else gained from that tower kill, except for that mech. Which really, if they had that earlier on, but they're gonna go for Roshan, and they're going to pop the Exorcism Spirits, they're going to pop the Edict, and they're going to try to tank it up with the Eidolons. Nature Prophet coming in, going to sprout him and drop the Trents in there. Everybody taking a little bit of damage from Roshan there, but they're going to take him out pretty quick, and then he's going to mech as he needs to. But nice quick Roshan, gives him another chunk of experience and gold. It's going to definitely benefit them there. So you see another jump. Actually, Radiant got the jump from that team fight as far as experience. It'll drop down a little bit. They are getting a chase down on the Death Prophet. She is pretty well out there, but she has the Ghost Walk debuff on her, so it's going to have to be Miracle that defends her. They're going to split the Chain of Frost, so that's not going to hurt too much, but the Vengeful Spirit stun is, and with that clap, he's going to go down. Dragon Knight doing some damage. Everybody coming in through the river funneled into this location here, but they are getting a lot of damage out on Fog. He doesn't have his Ghost Walk available anymore, and he's going to drop down too. So, Aegis on the left track, and he's just spamming bracers to keep this early game pressure going. Pretty much, it is very cost inefficient of him to buy that many bracers this early on, as far as endgame gold goes. But the fact that he Splitter's gonna miss. But the fact that he bought those right now shows that they want to just maintain this pressure early on and go for the kills, go for the domination at this point in the game, and not worry about how endgame items suit up. Because if they feel like if they can push racks by like 25 minutes or prior to that, then they really don't have to worry about what items are most cost efficient per item slot. And Drum is actually going to be on the Death Prophet, yeah. Miracle got his hood at this point, and he is 500 away from finishing that pipe, and that'll be very beneficial for him. Death Prophet has bottle on regeneration, but you can kind of see how things are shaping up as far as hero level. You have 2 level 9s and a level 8 on Radiant team. The rest of the heroes are level 8, and Nature's Prophet being level 10 on the Dire CLG. So, doing pretty well. Fog just trying to build up his Invoker, getting that Force Staff or Yules out really quickly. Probably Force Staff for the mobility there. You don't need really to stack Tornadoes on Tornadoes generally, but he really needs to pick up his experience because Nature's Prophet was in the suicide lane. He was the one that was getting zoned by the Vengeful Spirit Dragon Knight, and he's got more experience than Fogged. I mean, I know Nature's Prophet is the one who has all that farm potential jumping around the map and that sort of thing, but it's still something that Fogged has to really pick up on. He is level 10 now, but he needs to be the one that's leading on experience, leading on levels throughout this entire game if they're going to keep it up. In the meantime, he did actually go up for a Sange on the Dragon Knight. That was the only other thing that he could have really gone with the Ogre Club, and he's going to be building that into a Heaven's Halberd for sure. I'm not sure exactly whose auto attacks he's trying to stop, but a Sange and Yasha just doesn't seem really like it's going to be a big game changer for any of this stuff here. So we'll see exactly what he wants to do with that, but it kind of seems like honestly that the Halberd or the I can't say that I agree with the Halberd or the Sange and Yasha build, whichever one he decides to go with. There's really nothing that is really causing that much devastating auto attack damage. Nature Prophet later on in the game, maybe like 40 minutes in, but right now everybody's doing summons, everybody's doing skills, and that's where you need your BKB. You need to BKB out of Split Earth, the Malphus, the Gale, the Dot from Venomancer, and Death Prophet's Crypt Swarms, really. So I really feel like that Ogre Club could have been better utilized. I know that the stats are nice on the Sange, but other than that, the slowest miserable on it, so he's definitely not getting it for that. And I don't overall think that that's going to be putting them in the direction they need, especially when they're trying to go for a lot of gold. But there is a nice teleport in from Nature's Prophet and a Sprout going on Vengeful Spirit, and just enough damage to bring her down real quick. And that's going to give him an opening to push down this tier 2 bottom tower. They have rank 4 Edict, they have tons of summons, and they have their mech up, so they're going to go for it. And this is where Brewmaster has to decide if he's going to try to keep it up with his ultimate, or what he's going to do about it. But Cold Snap does go out on Pycat. He does have to fall back because he's taking a lot of damage. There goes a big tornado, but Brewmaster trying to get needs to get his ulti off, does not pop his ulti, and the creeps just soak up the Chain of Frost. So Brewmaster buyback, he's going to maybe TP in. There's a TP right there from Brewmaster. He's going to ulti as soon as he lands. Or he should if he's going to try to force it. But here comes a big Enigma. Doesn't even have to blink in. He does get stunned out of it, but he does pull in 3 heroes during the meantime. But that's where the Brewmaster Primal Split comes in, is because they don't get knocked out by the Black Hole. They don't have to worry about it. Dragon Knight does go down. Lich had already dropped, and Brewmaster reforms and dies immediately. But EMP does finish off that Enigma with the amount of mana that he did have. And an Invoker gets out of dodge real quick with that speed boost from the Wex. He has a lot of movement speed in that sense. But tier 2 tower down, and they have the Arcane Boots up. Whether or not they want to force this next one, they probably want to get out of there. They only have 10 seconds left before their team does come back up. So they're just going to cover their top lane, which has 2 siege creeps coming out, and just kind of go from there. A couple wards here. But Death Prophet on the stand-in doing pretty well. I'm not sure what he's going to be opting for next, but we'll see. In the meantime, you got just some supportive items on the Lich, so he can ward as much as possible and cover the lanes. Well, Brewmaster is probably going to try to get, if Invoker's going for the drum, so Brewmaster's probably going to be going for, I'm not really sure, because he has Arcane Boots, so he still needs mobile initiation. Maybe just going for straight a Blink Dagger or something like that. Definitely an option, but we'll have to see. He has a good amount of stats, good amount of mana regen with the Urn, and Arcane Boots. So I would really say he's probably opting for some kind of mobile initiation, like that Blink Dagger, to go along with Invoker's Tornado, that kind of thing. Aki, despite being supportive, stacked up these Ancients, and with this cluster of Venom Wards here doing tons of damage to him, being able to farm them really quickly up and kind of get that gold advantage real quick. He's going to be up to almost 2,000 once he finishes these off. Actually, with that big one, he's definitely going to be over 2,000. And that's going to help him pick up whatever he feels like. If he's going for an Aghanims or a Force Staff, we'll see very shortly. But in the meantime, got Force Staff finished on the Nature's Prophet. Miracle does have his pipe finished. I don't know if he's going to be looking for a Blink Dagger or a BKB to follow up with that. But really nothing coming out from the Dragon Knight. Apparently he just picked up the Sange, and now he's going to be going for a pipe. Pipe is a very common in the Chinese metagame for Dragon Knight players. I haven't seen him too much in the American player picking up that kind of item there, but it definitely could benefit them from the Venomancer ulti and the Pulse Nova and things along those lines. So Latrak working on his Bloodstone, just going for huge amounts of tankability and stats. Double Bracer, Soul Booster, not even increased movement speed from the boots. So what he's doing there is just building up his health. You're looking at 1,400, compare that to their 1,100 on their Invoker, even though he has a drum. It's just he has a lot of tankability on that Latrak, and therefore he can just run in there, pop his Edict, pop his Pulse Nova, run nearby people, and just land one good Split Earth. That's all he needs to do. And he has that Aegis too, so that Aegis is going to refresh him with full health. You're looking at 2,800 HP they have to burn through to kill him. So that's substantial there. They do have some good initiation going on here, though. Seeking, going right up close with the Tornado, and he pops his ultimate on the Brewmaster, but they do have Pipe going off. Miracle, out of mana, has to pop his Soul Ring to do anything else. Nature's Prophet just doing major auto attack damage, can mech everybody up, and they're going to keep on forcing the issue here. Kizzle's dropping low with the dots from Venomancer. Not sure if he's going to go down, but Vengeful Spirit does, and with that last Gale Tech, he is also, oh my gosh, barely survived that last Gale Tech there. So, Lich is still up in the action. He will have to heal up and then TP back. But they do take that opportunity to push down the middle tower, and they still have Aegis available. So, even with the 113 last hits from Dragon Knight, he doesn't really have any major items. He has some durability with Sange and the Cloak, but other than that, he's really not adding to anything until he gets to that level 16. And you're looking at GPMs, the entire Dire team, other than Venomancer, is just completely outclassing even their hardest carry in GPM, and that's just going to keep on going their way. You can see that on the goal graph dramatically. over 14,000 at this point, and it just keeps on going downhill, downhill, downhill. So they're keeping up the pressure. They keep on doing exactly what they've been doing, and it's going to start being very, very tough for PotM Bottom to hold the line here. But CLG trying to opt for some late game items now. Almost have the Bloodstone on the Shrek, and Nature Prophet, his next item, he's going to be looking for a Scythe of Ice. So that's going to be the major pickups there. I'm not sure what Enigma's doing, but we'll be shaping that up pretty shortly here. They are looking at the Roshan timer. They did count that off, and they got the Venom Wards prepping already, so they're going to be doing that immediately after. So even though they haven't used this token yet, they know it's going to drop off in a few seconds, really. And here comes Roshan back up. So apparently he does aggro as soon as he respawns. Generally speaking, you have to have the Venom Wards tell them to attack, but maybe there's a thing where when he immediately respawns, the Venom Wards auto-engage him. I don't know. But one way or another, he is up. Venomancer does have his Force Staff to get that, pretty much, it's kind of supportive initiation. It's not only an escape mechanism, but supportive initiation for Miracle. He doesn't have a blink yet, but that Force Staff from either Venomancer or Nature Prophet can throw him into the action pretty quickly. Along with that, it looks like a Heart might be a good option for Death Prophet. Yep, she does pick up the Reaver there, and she's already got that Vitality booster, so you're definitely seeing a lot to that. And really, they're having a hard time at this point. PotM Bottom is. They've got the most kills and assists are on their Vengeful Spirit, who has 5 deaths. So obviously 10 to 6, not in their favor. But if they can continue holding off, this Invoker almost has his Wex maxed. His tornadoes aren't very long, but the fact that he drains that much mana is a very high utility thing when they only have one, or maybe 1 Arcane Boots. Yeah, it looks like they only have the 1 Arcane Boots, but they're pushing it in. The Cold Snap does go on Pycat, but they don't really care. They got the Edict damage. If Fortification goes up, Tornado after the EMP is actually not as effective, misses everybody, and now his main spells are on cooldown for just a little bit. He does have Cold Snap invoked for the next time he wants to use it, but they're just kind of trying to push him back as much as they can, trying to wait at that Exorcism, but the pipe pops, and now Brewmaster ulti is up, and so they have to decide if they're going to engage on this or fall back, and Fire Elemental down, and Tornado on Death Prophet. Now Death Prophet's ulti is out, but Brewmaster only has a few seconds left on his ultimate, has to watch his positioning, but they actually have defended this to this point, but Aegis is still up, and they're going to keep working on it. The Force Staff, nice Force Staff against Pycat. He's in a terrible position, drops his Aegis out, and he's up on the high ground. They can get a long duration stun on him with this wand here. Nice Dragon Tail, but he does get forced out to safety. He was facing the right direction, and he is going to be alright, even with this nice Ice Wall. So, yeah, that Force Staff initiation, I'm not sure who has the Invoker must have used the Force Staff against Pycat, throwing him into the fray, and then getting a Cold Snap on him was really, really good to force CLG off the tower. Because pretty much if you're forcing somebody in over their head, popping their Aegis, that takes out a huge advantage, and they're going to be much more wary about trying to finish this tower off. So it does drop down to 400, so it has lost, it's down to a quarter of its HP, but it is safe for the time being, and that's what's important. Wow, Dragon Knight farming amazingly well. Aoi 2000 picking up 160 last hits just about, and he's going to be going for the Mjolnir. I guess he's just picking up the cloak for basic durability sense, and then he's going to be going for the farming of the Maelstrom. And that you can see that proc and just allowing him to really not flash farm a wave per se, but really add that much more CS potential to it. But again, healing up and jumping back into the middle lane. Almost has his Bloodstone, does not have it yet. I'm surprised he didn't just say, hey guys, let me find my 500 gold, but they want to take down this tower and get it that way, so that's what CLG is going to do. They know they have a timetable, don't want to have to deal with a fed up Dragon Knight, and so we'll have to see what happens from here. But Exorcism popped off immediately and Force Staffed into a bad position, but Dragon Tailed and double Force Staffed away. Wow, just so much back and forth as far as this positioning control on these teams. The nice Force Staff by Invoker again throwing him in, but she was able to face away right before the Gold Snap. She got out, but Pycat's in a bad spot, has no Aegis, and he's actually going to drop for real this time. 44, and he's still doesn't have his Bloodstone money. Nice tornado picking up 2, the long range with the Wex, but he's gonna have to. He gets so much on him. The Vengeful Spirit swap, the clap, everything, and he's gonna drop down before he can TP out. And they're got a little bit of pressure on top line. But this is the opportunity for PB to swing back a little bit, bottom to take tower and get a little bit more map control, get some wards up aggressively, and stop them from grouping up and doing what they do best, which is just annihilate creep waves and provide pressure to their towers. If they can get a ward in some this area here, they can pretty much make the plays happen on their timetable rather than on CLG's, and that'll really start changing the momentum of the game really quickly. So we do have a pause coming out for Nature's Prophet. But anyways, this tower's going to drop quickly. There's still over 40 seconds on the Nature's Prophet. He does almost have his Scythe. He is only about 500 away from that. But and Latrak almost has his Bloodstone, but he really probably wishes he had his Bloodstone sooner. That heal would have been nice for his teammates to push in and really knock out that team fight. But one way or another, they do have Death Prophet almost finishing her heart, and that's going to be something that's very difficult to deal with. So even though Dragon Knight is generally considered more of a carry based on the fact that he's auto attack based and can be very destructive with that splash damage, along with the slow, Death Prophet also, like I was saying, she gets that tank ability up, she goes for that heart, and her exorcism is able to just do so much damage throughout that team fight. And Fogged, manning up against a tower, 1v1. So, little known fact, Invoker can 1v1 towers that have backdoor protection on them. But anyways, Alacrity going up on Dragon Knight, they're going to try to put a lot of damage into that. And just a lot of nice buffs from PotM Bottom supporting their Dragon Knight here. They got Alacrity, they've got the Cold Ice Armor from Lich, and that's just kind of going to add a lot more potential to him. 30-second cooldown. So the reason Lich went for that for that rank 2 sacrifice at level 3, something that I don't usually do, but now that I'm looking at it, it might not be the worst option. Pretty much what it does is it brings the cooldown of sacrifice down to 30 seconds. So if you time it properly, you can do it behind your tower out of EXP range. You can do it back here or something like that. And you can do that for every single creep wave at the same time because it's 30 seconds. Creeps spawn every 30 seconds. The sacrifice cooldown is 30 seconds, so getting that up quickly is pretty much perfect for denying. I don't think it was the best for defending the towers, and the fact that they got 2 or 3 towers within 4 to 8 minutes, that's something that really limits your team potential, but and that's it's more important to deny the gold that they get from those towers, but it's debatable whether or not there's anything Lich could have done in the fact that they were having 4 push heroes knocking on their doorstep that early on. It might not matter what skill build he went, but that sacrifice, I'm guessing, is probably pretty standard, getting that 30-second cooldown up as fast as possible to keep it exactly as it needs to be. Anywho, Death Prophet, despite having that heart and having really good gold farm, you're kind of seeing the experience hurting a little bit. She only is level 13 compared to the 14 and 15s that are across the other members of the team. But there is a nice smoke game coming in, starting off with Lich. He's got a nice Chain Frost going to be coming out in just a second once they start grouping up. Brewmaster going for a clap and a split, and only the Chain of Frost actually only goes on Enigma 1 pop. Does get some disable on Venomancer, and they're killing the Courier. Fog does pick that off, but they've got to be looking for their next kill really quickly. I'm not sure. Enigma, or actually no, it's a Death Prophet that's in the bad spot. She was just kind of going really deep on the Vengeful Spirit, trying to pick her off, and that did not happen. So, or sorry, the Dragon Knight, trying to finish off the Dragon Knight, but he's doing all right now. He's got his Mjolnir. He's pretty tankable at this point because the proc on receiving auto attacks. But Nature's Prophet does finish his Scythe, does live out of that fight, and so they're really reliant on LC and the stand-ins performance in these next couple fights, really applying their pressure and applying their money in the right direction, because they do still have that major gold advantage, at least for the time being, and they need to really work on it, because if they aren't able to continue pushing down these towers, they do have tier 3 and mid cleared, and they can just go straight for the racks. But if they're not doing that, then it's gonna start causing them problems. It's an interesting little rainbow effect. I don't know if that's always been there, but I never really noticed that there's a little rainbow right along here. But anyways, yeah. So Nature's Prophet building very well. Pycat finally finishing his Bloodstone up. He was so close to it for, I mean, had it almost all of it 20 minutes in, and now it's just taking him so much longer to get that last little bit through. But he does that, and it looks like a Scythe is going to come out for the Enigma as well. Not even worrying about black holes. They know that they got the Vengeful Spirit swap that can pull him out of the black hole, even if he does BKB. So there's not enough point in BKB. But the Scythe will really add to it. Be able to stop chain casting Invoker, or actually pick off that Dragonite before he can get away, that kind of thing. So it's really how the fights are engineered. They were really a little bit scattered in the last one. CLG was, you know, Nature's Prophet and trying to remember, Enigma getting picked off really quickly, and then the Leshrac and the Nature's Prophet trying to go for one person, and everybody else going for another. It's just really not the best thing. But anywho, got a quick pause for Skype and a little bit of latency or delay there. But interestingly enough, Enigma going from the Mystic Staff going to a Vitality booster. I'm guessing he just wants a little bit more HP in fights. I don't think he's actually going to build anything out of that, because it just doesn't make sense in my mind anyways. But he's probably just getting that for a nice little boost of HP to survive in the fights and make that Pipe of Insight that much more beneficial in the mitigation factor. Take a couple more auto attacks, take a couple more spell casts, whatever. But the Mystic Staff indicates that he's put a lot of money into that. He's definitely going to be going for that Scythe or that Shiva's, but he needs to. But right now he's just trying to make sure that he survives in the next encounter. He doesn't expect to get that luxury item prior to the next encounter. It costs just too much more. So he's just making a little bit of his gold in that Vitality booster to make sure that he can make it through the next fight, hopefully alive, or at least tank up more damage for his team, and giving Death Prophet and Leshrac that much more opportunity to do their thing, do their long extended damage where it's not immediate, it's not bursty, but the longer the fight is, the happier CLG is. The Venom, the Poison Nova and Gale from Venomancer show that, the Pulse Nova shows that, and the Exorcism from Death Prophet shows that. Also, you can take into factor later on buybacks from Nature's Prophet, the fact that he can teleport right back onto the team fight immediately after buying back. Really, the longer the fight goes, the better for almost every single one of their heroes. I mean, I guess Enigma's not really built that way, but right now he's just being the target no matter what, so it doesn't matter what his skill synergy is, because he's just a pipe bitch right now, and he really needs to get that. That's why he buys that Vitality, is to kind of, he's going to die one way or another, he knows that, but if he can survive for just a bit longer to benefit the other members of his team and throw their fight that much more in the other direction. But I've got to say, that overall, PotM Bottom has held this really well. I mean, you're looking at, 20-some minutes ago, you're looking at the 4-minute mark being down 2 towers, and now they have had their tier 3 pushed in here, but overall, they've been covering themselves really well. They haven't been picked off in their jungle or anything, despite the extremely aggressive play from CLG. So, I'd say they're coordinating really well, and I think they've pinpointed the exact point where they need to defend the towers and focus as a team. But Vladimir's for the armor bonus, and Blink Dagger picked up on Brewmaster, so it does give a little bit of lifesteal on Dragonite when he's in melee form, but the main thing that they're getting it for is just a bit more. +5 armor is really substantial. It's pretty much what Assault Cuirass would take away, and so you can kind of think of that as not much more of a benefit there. But being able to pick that up and have that carry that aura around while he's in the Brewlings do stick with, the auras do stick with the Earth Panda there, and that's gonna help out their team fight that much more. Having the Wave of Terror giving an armor disadvantage to the enemy team, and having the Vladimirs giving an armor advantage to their team, really starts giving the advantage. And most likely you're gonna see an Assault Cuirass pick up from the Dragonite in not too long. And that's kind of what they're opting for, is just having this huge physical damage advantage and the pipe. If they're building a pipe, that's really what I'm worried about. Is there the one thing is CLG's damage isn't really physically oriented. I mean, Nature Prophet auto attacks pretty freaking hard with that scythe and force staff, but overall the damage is really coming from the Pulse Nova, from the Poison Nova, that kind of thing. It does mitigate Exorcism. Exorcism is physical based damage, so the pick off. Actually, I didn't check that. Nature Prophet actually was in a really bad spot here. I don't know if he was just trying to push down top tower and put some pressure out there, but they picked him off really quickly and put an end to that. Smoke up, and they're kind of going to see if they can do anything but Roshan. Nature Prophet did do that buyback, and he is going to teleport in no time at all. Does teleport right there, drop some Trents, but they did catch the health on Roshan. He's going to bounce back and forth between Roshan and take off Death Prophet really quickly. Black Hole coming in, but he gets swapped out by the Vengeful Spirit. He has Pipe, but just a couple auto attacks will finish him off, and Earth Panda, or Panda in general, doing a nice tornado on Nature Prophet. Frustrating Pycat. He's trying to finish off the Roshan, but is killed by the Radiant. Aegis goes on Venomancer, and Panda goes back together, does his clap, but they're going to have to face two Venos real quick. So finish off Pycat and get out of there is really what their objective should be right now. But the fact that Nature Prophet... Apparently Nature Prophet got out of there. He got tornadoed and he was really low HP, but they didn't focus him down. So he was able to heal back up and get back in the fight. And that's what I'm talking about overtime fights. The Poison Nova, the mobility of the Nature's Prophet, and the damage of the Pulse Nova. He just jumped up from like 6 Bloodstone stacks to 10 Bloodstone stacks, and they got the Aegis. Now, Roshan kill did go to the Radiant. They got the gold, and if they were close enough, which I believe, of course they were, they got some of the experience, but distributed among maybe 1 or 2 heroes. But the fact of the matter is, that fight overall went to CLG despite the Nature Prophet buyback, because the Dragon Knight did drop down despite his decent amount of farm, and the Panda wasn't able to finish off a couple of the heroes. So they did pick off Death Prophet very nicely, and the Black Hole was foiled by the Vengeful Spirit swap. That was really well played by PotM Bottom. But overall, they weren't able to finish off Pycat, and his Bloodstone stacks are just going to keep going, and now he's got his BKB shortly, 1600 away from that. So... Is Corey got anything? No. I don't know. He's EMPing down on Pycat, trying to reduce the amount that he can do, but the Sprout's going to come out and kind of stop them from doing that. Malefice stun on Sneaking, and he's going to drop off real quick. Pipe does go up, and Dragon Knight trying to wreak some havoc, but he's got the Halberd finished. Then Chain Frost jumping around against the Pipe, but they are going to finish off the Death Prophet as well. And she's working on Assault Cure, so Shiva's actually is going to be what she's going to be picking up. But Pycat gets caught out with the Vengeful Spirit stun, followed by the Dragon Tail. Just like in laning phase, it's just so much stun and disable potential. And Evoker come from behind with a lot of Cold Snap and auto attack damage, coming out really quickly with that Max Wex. So they're coming back in this team fight. They're taking out the Pycat, or actually the Venomancer comes back up. I forgot he picked up the Aegis out of sheer panic, and he's able to finish off Vengeful Spirit. I'm not sure why she got caught. She should have gone this way. Somehow she got caught up in this spot here, but that's not really important. They're finishing off LC here, and he does not have his buyback available for 2 more minutes. So, nice team fight. That definitely shows a comeback streak on PotM Bottom. Being able to really, they seem spread out, but is more of a flank. They were coming in from every direction and just wreaking that havoc, and caused CLG to have difficulty focusing on what they needed to. So like with the really good Cold Snaps on Pycat, interrupting his Pulse Nova ticks, and just overall putting that much damage pressure out on him. And then Force Staff pulled Death Prophet out of position, and she was able to be focused down really well, quickly as well. Yeah, with that VS Dragon Knight stun, just that much disable on one team really causes problems for CLG right now. So up next, Shivas is going to be pretty soon on the Invoker. I'm not sure if he's going to blow his buyback money for that. It does cost him quite a bit, 1100. So you're looking at what, 2700 and 875. He does have the money for Sheepstick, but it looks like he's either buying it right now or he's going to be, yeah, he bought the whole thing. So he's not caring about buyback. He's just going for the Scythe. And really, Death Prophet needs her Shivas at this point. She does not have much armor. I mean, 16 is okay, 49%, but it could be a lot higher. Each point of armor gives 12% effective health against physical damage, and that's what she really needs to finish up. Same with Pycat with his BKB, especially against that Invoker who's just tearing him a new one, getting those surprise cold snaps and cheeps and stuff on him, and disabling that Pycat hardcore. So, the Chain of Frost wasn't amazing with Lich. The pipe was up at the time on a couple of the heroes, so it did do a bit of extra damage on the Death Prophet, which was nice, but overall it didn't bounce to be as effectively as it needed to, but that just shows that they don't need that Chain Frost to win fights. They have the damage from Dragon Knight now. He does well over 100 and about 180, and then he's got the ultimate form, which gives him 14 bonus, and he attacks so friggin' fast. He's got at this point 0.6 per attack, 0.6 seconds per attack, and that's without Alacrity. If he has the Alacrity bonus with maxed out Wex, that gives an increase. I'm looking at AMP's icon. You actually have to click on it here. Sorry. You're looking at 80% bonus attack speed, and he can just attack almost on at a maximum attack speed there, and just plays out that much destructive damage. And the fact that he's level 18. You're looking at 718 Invoker, 5012. Actually, the Venomancer has not died yet. That Aegis was the only time that he died right there, and he got out of the last fight, disengaged with a 4-staff. So he's got a Necronomicon for that aura benefit and for a little bit of mana burn. Not really for the invis detection, but just for those other stuff. But he's been farming decently with these Ancients, and he literally has not yet to die. So he's actually probably doing pretty well. I'm surprised he's only level 15. I know that Aki supported at the start, but overall, I love that new skin on the Big Thunder Lizards, by the way. But, yeah, Aki, he supported it early off. But the fact that he hasn't died in any of these fights, I'm guessing he's just, every time he gets these kills and assists, a lot of the time he's too far away. That's damage, dot damage that's getting him those. But it does help that he hasn't died, hasn't fed any money or EXP to the enemy team. And that's always important. Mech Bracer up on him. Invoker, like I said, he finished his slice, and now he has buyback money, and Dragon is going to be going for Daedalus. I completely agree with this pickup. That splash damage plus the crit can just be so devastating, along with that Alacrity. It allows Dragon Knight to just carry like crazy. I mean, he doesn't have the BKB. I wish he did have that instead of maybe the Halberd, but overall, I'm not sure if you can use the evasion to dodge the exorcism. I know that you can't disarm the exorcism, obviously, but I don't think they're physical auto attacks. I think it's physical damage from a spell. So I'm not thinking that Heaven's Halberd will mitigate that damage by dodging, but I might be wrong. I don't know. Anyways, LC pushing in the top lane, trying to put some pressure out there, but Seeking always ready to TP back and blink up to make sure that they don't have to worry about that pressure. He's actually covering middle lane real quick because he knows that's going to be something that they don't have the tower to defend it. And yellow Aoi 2000 is going to be covering top. In the meantime, Pycat did finish his BKB, or yeah, he has the gold for it. There it goes. And Aki finishes Necro 3. So that's a very powerful aura, a good mana burn, just really good high utility item. But if they're going to stay in this, they need Death Prophet to finish that Shiva's up. Plain simple. Nothing more to be said about that. Because even though the gold gain was extremely in their favor, it's starting to just plateau out and waver a little bit back in their direction. So, and the EXP is almost equalized after 17-17. They're losing on the towers. PotM Bottom is still, but they've gotten a lot of CS. You can see from the last hits and denies right here. And overall, they're about to push this top tower and get the money that they've been storing up kind of in these towers here. They have a bunch of potential. It's like potential energy. You have a bunch of potential gold in these buildings right here that they haven't been able to take advantage of until now. But just taking a quick tier 1 and then teleporting back, that's exactly what they need to do. That's free money, and they can keep on the summons doing a little bit of damage there. They do have some good wards in their jungle, so they do know the positioning of half the enemy team, half of CLG here. And actually, with this ward here, they know everything. So really good warding by Lich here, I'm assuming, or Vengeful Spirit. VS has the wards right now, but they really know exactly where their opponent's in. They're going to be able to engage on this if they so choose. Right now they're playing defensively, but with that Nature Prophet top on the minimap, they're probably going to be, smoking up and jumping in on it, so they know exactly where the enemy is. They have that increased mobility with the smoke, and they're going to try to pick up Pycat or something like that. So huge, very, very scary squad coming through, because all you have to have is like a 4-staff sheep stick. But Pycat is going to pour it out. They might look for him in the outpost, so they're just going to keep on going this way, and they're going to go over here to the Ancients, most likely. And we'll see. There's going to be 3, so there's going to be 5 versus 3 here. Blink Dagger in from the sneaking, doing the clap on that, trying to get some damage on Aki. Enigma just completely melts, and not much they can do about that, but they might be able to disengage from here. They're going to, oh, nice VS swap, pulling out the Pycat. He's got nothing, VS stun, and now Aki's kind of out of position, but who cares? They've just got so much advantage already. Oh, well, Aki's on their team. Don't know why I thought differently, but anyways, Aki gets caught out as well. So even with the damage from the poison number and stuff like that, they're not afraid. They can take Roshan coming up in about 30 seconds here, and do whatever they want from there. So I don't know if they're going to wait for it. It looks like they haven't timed it based on the fact that they're not sure when he's popping up, but they know he should be coming up pretty soon. So they're going to wait for it and have the Invoker summons count out. Now LC just wasted his teleport to come in here. I know he has his BKB and 4-staff, but he's got to watch himself. He does send his summons in. We're going to have a little bit of a Pokemon battle here between these guys here, but just kind of battling. But everybody sees the Roshan. Everybody knows he has Cheese, he has Aegis, and he's ready to rock and roll with whoever wants to mess with him. So we'll see who wants to engage on that. As far as ward vision, we've got nice control by the Radiant here. Seeing this spot here, but okay, we got initiation by Aoi 2000 sneaking, going up on the Pycat. Leshrac just gets completely chain stunned, knocked out, and same with Death Prophet. She can't go anywhere. She's going to get dropped out, and this might be GG for CLG. They got very little they can do now. Nature Prophet does have BKB up, but it's about to fade. Aki's doesn't have that much survivability, only 1600 health. They do have some damage coming out from Nature Prophet ulti, but overall, if those Broodlings can catch anybody out, if he did a tornado, he could have bursted up with Windwalk and done a tornado, but little Sunstrike on Aki trying to defend, but they're not really worried about getting those last 2 kills, because what they got the Roshan, they got the Cheese, they got the Aegis, they got sneaking in the trees, covering that area, scouting it out, making sure nobody's messing with this little circle right here. But anyways, so they did finish that off. Cheese, Aegis goes on to Dragonite, Cheese goes on to maybe Invoker, for right now at least, and Invoker does have that Aghanims, and he does have that Cheese available as well. So LC is going to do a little bit of pressure on the top lane, but he's going to get focused by this sneaking, and he's going to have to pour it out right immediately after. So, oh, Vegetable Spirit swap, stopping the TP temporarily. She doesn't have that much more mana. She is a Piglet, and he's going to be able to teleport out from that. That nice sheep stick teleport, he knew that Way Too Sexy was the only one that could prevent his secondary attempt on the teleport, and so he was able to sheep her and get out of dodge. But one way or another, now it's kind of, the tables have turned a little bit with the Aegis and the Cheese in the hands of PotM Bottom. Really, CLG is going to be having to hold the line for the next 10 minutes here, trying to make sure that they don't get too well pressured out. But it looks like PotM Bottom's going to be happy to farm it up. They're going to push a little bit, but they don't really even need to take out any more towers. You see the advantage completely coming back their direction, and they scale so much better with items. I mean, when this Daedalus finishes on Dragonite, it's just going to be devastating how much he can do. I mean, he already has amazing attack speed, and with that much bonus damage, oh, look at that experience, just flying up through the roof. Elevator going to the top floor as far as getting that experience advantage, popping up to almost 10,000 from only a few minutes before being below 3,000. That's just insane. But they are trying to put some pressure on the bottom lane. At this point, that's all that CLG can rely on, is looking at this opportunity to side push and backdoor a little bit. Nature Prophet didn't really go for a backdoor build, he went for a team fight build. It's just, you know, in my opinion, obviously better, but when they can't win the team fights, when they get caught, Pycat gets caught out even with his BKB and just gets a quick stun from Dragonite on him, there's not much that can be done. And it's just, it hurts. Wait, is that a... Was that a rank 2 Bloodstone? Okay, so that is even worse off right there. He went for the Bloodstone to get some survivability, some sustainability, but you're looking at the charges now, and he's only got 2 left. He just went from 6 base charges. Now he's died so many times since then. You look at his deaths, you're looking at 4, 6, and 9, so he's not doing too hot whatsoever. And Bloodstone is one of those items where you need to, once you pick it up, you have to get that advantage as far as the charges go, because that's really the whole point, is to kind of snowball with that item. Sneaking, going for the Hyperstone, looking at an Assault Cuirass. Again, that aura goes with the Earth Panda wherever he goes, even when he's ultied. So it's going to, oh wow, rank 3 swap. He actually was almost in range 2 with that really nice Wave of Terror, able to jump on him. But Enigma does finish up his Scythe, and maybe that'll do something for him. I don't know. There are no BKBs on PotM Bottom's team. You gotta see. They have the Daedalus finished. They have tons of damage coming out. They have tons of disables and spells coming out, but they don't actually have any BKBs. So those scythes, they keep on building up scythes. They got one on in both Enigma and Nature's Prophet, and Shiva's finishing up on the Death Prophet. So that's going to be what they need, I guess. They are going to try to do a split push and just not even worry about what's going on in the top lane. They might teleport back, but they know that the team fight is, yeah, they're teleporting back now, but the team fight is definitely in favor of PotM Bottom right now with this Aegis on the Daedalus Dragonite. And so that's really, with that much damage and that attack speed and everything just coming out from the Dragonite, it's really, really difficult for CLG to do anything about it. But now that everybody's teleported back, they're just going to cover their bottom lane. Panda starts with the bug. He's just kind of punching creeps, which is kind of funny. But yeah, he's going to clear out this bottom lane, and then they're probably going to group up again and just try to do another push. They've got plenty of time on the Roshan token. He's not even half up. So yeah, they're going to just kind of take what advantage they can. Maybe Dragonite will go for a Boots of Travel and a BKB. I'd say that's probably his best final items, unless he ends up selling that Heaven's Halberd, which... okay, but they do have a nice smoke from this team over CLG over here, so Miracle, sheep on him already. He does not have a BKB, so he's going to get picked off really quickly, but he does have the Aegis available, and Dragon Form immediately after that to pop off. So, but he is a black, they're going for a really early, really aggressive black hole on him. Put him in the Trents, and they just want to make sure they get at least a solo black hole on him a little bit early. Didn't time with the Aegis very well, but he's going to buy back and he's going to jump back in. So he still has his Dragon Form up because he was ulted by the black hole as soon as he came back in. But they're just going to disengage from that with the ice wall and make sure they can cover their towers. They did lose a lot from that encounter, though. That was very well played by CLG. They did lose the black hole, but with that Vengeful Spirit having a rank 3 ultimate, Enigma's not pulling off a more than 1 second black hole anyways. So using it just to make sure that they had a Dragonite kill was exactly what they needed to do there. Obviously, he doesn't have a BKB, so they were just able to do stuns and slows and other kinds of disables on him to get the first kill. After that, they put the trees wrapped around him so that he couldn't go anywhere once the Aegis respawned. And then even Enigma blowing the black hole to make sure that as soon as he respawned, he was completely permanently disabled. We do have engagement going on bottom lane. Sneaking, blink daggering in. He's out of mana though. And IO 2000 getting picked off again. Oh, painful for PotM Bottom. Sneaking too. Just nowhere he can go. Still a lot of slows, a lot of disables. And that's where the no BKB issue is costing them. They don't have any immunity to these stuns. They don't have immunity to this burst magic damage. And LC jumping up ahead with that teleportation, and he's going to pick off the Invoker as well. He's going to try to Ghost Walk, but it's too late. And Godlike Streak ended for giving it to Nature's Prophet. So he's got tons of gold, rolling in money, holla get dollar, and he's going to pick up MKB is what he's looking at. So he's going to buy the Daedalus from the Seer Trop, and he's going to have so much money right here. Invoker buyback. Dragonite doesn't have it available. He's going to be down for the next 40 seconds, and he does have the money, but not the time. And I guess Brewmaster's just probably going to wait it out because he doesn't have the money available either. He's not even close to his Assault Cuirass, and this is what's going to cost them right here. They're going to push the middle lane racks, and they don't have time for it. Even with the Invoker, he has really good counter push. He had that EMP, he has the Tornado, he has that Meteor, Deafening Blast even, but there's just only so much you can do as one person, even with at level 21. So he's got that Aghanim Scepter. He has 2-second invokes on his spells, and he's able to spam them and rotate them out so rapidly, but you just can't stop that much damage on these towers, and the range racks go down. Chain Frost going out. Way Too Sexy tried to go for an initiation, but actually pulled himself more out of position than the enemy, and BKB pops off on Nature's Prophet, and he gets another kill there. VS buyback, she TP'd in. She got sheep, but she has sheeped again. Just so much slice of ice on CLG right here. And Panda reforms, but enough damage came out on the Nature's Prophet. They picked him off. He does barely have enough gold for buyback there, just by a little bit. Not sure if he's going to pop. It is a really long cooldown, 80 seconds, and Roshan's going to be up in 2.5 minutes. But just the overall coverage, they couldn't stop the racks. They knew that, but as soon as the racks fell, CLG tried to disengage, and PotM Bottom wasn't going to have any of that. It did cost them Vengeful Spirit and a Vengeful Spirit buyback, but right now she's playing as supportive as she can, and she's happy to make that sacrifice to get a kill or two, and that's what they manage. So now they're looking at pushing in the middle lane. He is going for lifesteal, so he's going for a Satanic after his Daedalus, but like I said, if you're disabled, there's not really much that you're going to benefit from that Dragonite, and they have so many Slice of Ice. Slice of Ice is only a 35-second cooldown, so being able to stack those on top of this Dragonite, he's going nowhere, and now he's just gets picked off over and over and over again. That's really important for PotM Bottom. It's great that they got the Nature's Prophet kill, but he was able to save his buyback until they had pushed out of position. Gets teleported in, Trent's in, and or sprouts them in, and is able to get 2 kills on their carries. So at this point, they got Invoker, Lich, and Vengeful Spirit to defend all of their towers for the next 60 seconds. Dragonite has his buyback up in 30 seconds, but now he doesn't have the gold. Before he had the gold, not the time. Now he has the time, not the gold. And that's just gonna be very devastating for them. Assault Curious did finish up on Brewmaster. He must have had it on the Courier, so that was my mistake there. But the amount of disable coming out from CLG here, putting their stuns out exactly where they need to, putting their sheep sticks out on exactly who they need to. Really well played by them, and they've just destroyed the past 2 team fights by picking off these carries. These carries get a little bit over aggressive, and CLG is making them pay for it. Now they're going to try to rotate to the bottom lane to finish this off. If they can take down these last 2 racks, that is good game. That's all they need to do. But Miracle coming in, getting enough disables on Fog. He does pop Cheese though, full health and mana, but the Black Hole pulling him back in, and he's going to get knocked down too. Way Too Sexy also falling. So that is going to be a good game. Good game called by PotM Bottom, and they're going to take it down. So really well played game. Very back and forth, but it looks like CLG was actually able to pull it off. They had a really aggressive start with those tower kills, taking down 3 of them before like 6 to 8 minutes, and from there they were just able to get the items they needed to. So many sheep sticks. You can kind of see, well, the scoreboard will come back and you'll see the items in a minute, but they just had so much disable and so much potential to just knock these guys out. And you can just see the damage that's coming out in Dragonite. Even from his fountain, he can't survive. Just too much damage there. Magic damage all over the place, even with that cloak. Actually, he sold the cloak, so he's not even mitigating magic damage. He's got 25% natural magic resist, as does everybody. But he's just taking so much pain from the Pulse Nova, from the Poison Nova, all that good stuff. So good game. Very exciting. Very back and forth. At first, I was convinced that CLG was just going to dominate that really quickly. But PotM Bottom pulled it together, really did amazing mid game, and we're gearing up to push for a very destructive late game. But unfortunately, CLG, they were able to take that money that they got early on, and they put it in the right place. Took down PotM Bottom, and that's just a really well played game for them. Like I said, it's a group stage, so it was just a best of 1, and really well played by both teams. So that was very exciting. What I would say as a kind of a criticism is that I do think the BKB is too good of an item against the CLG's lineup to not pick it up. Yeah, it doesn't stop the Black Hole, it doesn't stop Exorcism, and it doesn't stop Sprout, but every other ability is magic based. Every other ability is causing you problems. And those double Scythe of Ice and the Shivas stopping Dragonite from auto-attacking, life-stealing, or even getting out of a bad position. Same with Brewmaster. Once you're in that position, you're locked down and you're going nowhere. and that's where CLG completely took advantage of that. And even though Pi got completely picked off a couple times in the middle game, his Bloodstone stacks came back up to, I think they were over 12, and actually got a Desolator, which is something I've literally never seen on Lishrak, but, well, there you go. Anyways, guys, I kind of digress at this point. It was a very good game, very active. Sort through, you got the KDA, you got the last hits and denies, profit coming over 409, GPM, you can see it on the scoreboard here, so I'll stop doing that, but 552 GPM on profit, very, very well situated on items. And thanks for watching, guys. This has been a BlazeCast presentation. I'm a relatively new caster, so if you want to give me some feedback of how I can improve, just better meet your casting needs, something like that. I'm going to keep on botting defense too, as long as I can. But just trying to get into it and get a little bit more experience in this field here. So, alright, well, signing off. Thanks for watching.